Hello friends, in this video I will show you some of the features of the program Save My Time. Now please make sure that you have seen the video on how to set up the program, otherwise it will not work correctly. Okay, so let's get started. So first we need to know how to log in. So for that, when you open up the program, on the top buttons there is a button called Launch Browser. So when you click on that, a Firefox browser will be opened within the program. Just wait for it. So in case you want to enter the details like dispensary name, username manually, you are free to do that, or else you can click on this button called login. So when you click on the login button, the program will automatically fill in the details, the dispensary name, the username and the captcha in the background. So unless you have set up the program correctly, it won't work. So make sure that you have set it up. Okay, so now all you need to do is just fill in the password. Now before proceeding further, I want to mention that you will see certain areas of the website blacked out. Okay, so that is just to maintain the patient confidentiality and to prevent it from being misused by anyone. Okay, so coming to the first feature, which is adding referrals. So how this feature works is that you just load up a patient. Okay, so click on proceed. On this page only, if you go back to the program and click on any consultation button, so for example, let's say gynae. So the program will open up the referral page in the background, open the investigation field, enter the term gynae and obstetrics, and then change the quantity number to 3. Okay, so it does it all in the background by just clicking a button. This feature also works when you are already in the referral page. That is when the referral page is already opened. So you can just go back to the program and add some more referrals like dental, PMR, surgery, pediatrics, nephro, neuro, medicine, ophthal, ortho. So as you can see, there are all the referrals have been added and the quantity number is by default changed to 3. So that is extremely useful, at least for me and hopefully for a lot of others. Now coming to the second feature, which is adding a medicine after printing a referral. So what I often find is that once I have printed a referral, I usually have to go back to the page where we add all the medicine. So what I have done is that once you have printed a referral, there is this button called Add Some Med. Now this button is present on the window that appears after clicking on Place on Top. So again, if you haven't seen the video on how to set it up, you won't know how to do it. Just make sure you see that video. Okay, so just click on the Add Some Medicine button. So the program will go back and open the page. Okay, next what it does is that it opens the pharmacy page and then it adds the first medicine that is available in the list, whatever medicine it is, right? Then it adds the number 0 to the quantity, and finally in the remark section it adds the remark PNB referral. So in case that is not relevant for you, you can just delete that. So that is a useful feature. Okay, coming to the next feature, which is basically meant to protect your eyes. What I have done is that I have included a plugin along with the program. So this plugin inverts the color of the browser. So even after reducing the brightness and the contrast settings, sometimes I find it extremely painful for the eyes when I have to stare at the screen for several hours in a row. So this plugin will just change the colors so that it becomes easier to watch. Okay, so for that, just click on this button, go dark, and as you will see, the plugin gets installed in the background. Now by default, it opens up the home page of the person who designed this plugin. So in case you are connected to the internet, you can see the details over there, or else you can just close that up. Okay, so immediately you'll notice that the color of the browser has changed, and this is more soothing to the eyes. Okay, so the next feature, which is I think the most useful feature, is printing prescriptions silently. Now, even if you don't use any other feature, this feature alone will save you a lot of time. Click on this button, Place on Top. This will open up another window. Now this is just 2 buttons. One is the print button and the other is the Add Some Medicine button. So I've already explained to you what is the function of Add Some Medicine button, right? Next is the print button. So let me show you what it does. Okay, so what happens right now is that when we have to print a prescription, we first click on the print button, right? It opens up the next page. Then we go to the top right, click on the print button again. Okay, so this opens a dialog box. You need to click enter or OK, whatever. and again go back to the back button, and that will open up the default page from where you began. So this entire sequence takes approximately 5 to 10 seconds. So what this program will do is it will use the time from existing 5 seconds to even less than say 1 second. Okay, so how do you do that? So the basic thing is that initially you're printing the first page using this program. Just make sure that the settings are changed according to the needs, according to your needs. For example, in my case, I usually change the printer settings to either an A5 or an A4 with a 50% scale, right? So you just make sure that you have changed the printing settings to these values, whatever value is suitable for you. And once you do that, you click on the button print silently. So that button is there on the top. I've already changed the print settings to the desirable values. Now I will click on this button print silently. So there will be some stuff happening in the background. Just ignore that. Okay, so now let me show you how long it takes to print something. And that's all there is. Literally takes less than 1 second. So it opened up the print page, gave the command, pressed enter and clicked on back button. So it saves up a lot of time. Okay, so the existing method used to take at least 5 seconds and this new method takes less than 1 second. So in case you are printing, let's say 100 prescriptions a day, so that itself is going to save you 500 seconds, right? So extremely useful. Okay, coming to the next feature, which is how to add investigations and procedures. So what I've done is that I've created certain investigations which are commonly prescribed in a particular specialty. So I've clubbed together these investigations into buttons, and instead of having to type everything out, you can just click on these buttons to add that investigation. So let's open up anemia. So some of the commonly prescribed investigations that I myself would like to order in such a case would be like a CBC, then vitamin D3, B12 folic acid, iron profile, serum ferritin, stool for occult blood, stool for routine microscopy, and so on. So these are just some of the commonly used investigations. Of course, if you have to add anything else, then you can manually type it as is the existing procedure. So you will notice that as I am clicking these buttons, the investigations are getting added up in the investigation field accordingly. Okay, so next is cardiology. Okay, so troponin, chest x-ray, ECG, and some routine blood investigations, vitamin D3, and so again, all these have been added. So we don't need to type that. So it saves it saves a lot of time. Next, coming to dental. Now, most of the procedures that are commonly prescribed by a dentist, I've already added them. So in addition, there are on the right side, you can see the investigations that are sometimes ordered and so on. So what you need to do is just click on the appropriate button, and then later on just make sure that you are filling in the quantities in the appropriate boxes. Right, so the procedure gets added. Now all that is left is just filling in the quantity. Coming to the next field, that is ENT. Now again, as for dental, I have added a few investigations and some commonly used procedures and everything. So again, you just need to click and that's it. Okay, so some investigation for a patient of fever. Again, the same thing. Again, for gastroenterology, I've added a few blood investigations, some procedures, some radiological investigations like a fibroscan. Okay, so next coming to nephrology. So again, some commonly used blood investigations and radiological investigations, and of course dialysis for seronegative, seropositive case. Now coming to neurology. Now again, some commonly used blood investigations, some radiological investigations, and some other investigations like EEG, NCV and stuff. Now, unless specified, all the radiological investigations are plain. Okay, so when I mentioned CD spine, that means it's a cervicodorsal spine, plain MRI. Okay, so coming to OVG, so I have separated them into blood investigations and other investigations. So blood investigations which are commonly advised during the antenatal checkups, and then of course radiological investigations which are needed. Then oncology, similarly some investigations, blood investigations, some radiology, and of course some procedures. So everything seems to be working fine. Coming to ophthalmology, these will cover majority of the investigations which are ordered by an ophthalmologist, so it becomes easier. Okay, so coming to orthopedics. In orthopedics, there are again some blood investigations, X-rays, DEXA scan, MRIs, and of course physiotherapy. Then for pre-anesthetic checkup, these are the most commonly used things. In addition to the physiotherapy that is added in the orthopedic section, I have included a separate button for the physiotherapy itself. So it's the same thing, just that there is another button for this. In pulmonology, the pattern is same. There are blood investigations on one side and radiological and miscellaneous investigation on the other. So the pattern remains the same. Now coming to rheumatology, most of the investigations are mainly blood investigations. So for rheumatology, there are no separate sections. Okay, so coming to routine investigations. So we have a lot of patients who come to us and ask us, we want a routine investigation done, CBC, liver function, renal function and stuff. So it becomes repetitive. So what I've done is that I've added a few commonly used routine investigations in a separate button. Okay, so you can just click on the investigations that you want. Most of the times we will only be limiting ourselves to the investigations on the left side. So down there we have two buttons. One is all of these investigations, which will include everything that is there, and this button, the second last button, is just clicking this last button will add all the investigations on the left side except vitamin D. So the next is the sugar button. So the sugar will just add fasting PP and HbA1c. So just the two investigations. Now coming to urology. Everything seems to be working. Then UTI. Unlike other buttons where when you click a button, another window opens, when it comes to sugar, UTI and viral markers, some investigations get pre-filled automatically. In case you don't want some particular investigation, you can delete that. When a patient whose parent wellness center is different from your wellness center, we don't have that button down at the bottom which is repeat all, and sometimes this might become cumbersome. So for example, in this case, this patient was of some other parent wellness center, so instead of having to click on OK 10-12 times in this case, I can just go and click on this button repeat all. So when I click this, all the medicines get added automatically. So this button doesn't work every time, but it does work most of the times. So coming to the last feature, which is adding medicines. Okay, so this is just an experimental feature that I've added, and I don't recommend that you use it. If in case you are using it, do it at your own risk. So what I've done is that I've added a few commonly prescribed medicines, and when you click this, the medicine will get added automatically. So as you can see, as I'm clicking these buttons, the medicine is getting added in the background. In case the server speed is slow, this feature will not work. Okay, so as you can see, I've added a few commonly used drugs. Now you don't have to use this feature, and I strongly recommend that you type the generic names of these drugs. In case you think that I have missed some important investigation or a procedure that is commonly advised by that specialty, please do leave a comment below. So I'll make sure that I include that in the next version. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope you like the program. In case you have any suggestions, please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. Thank you.